Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Shalom, family. Most High in Christ bless.
Most High in Christ bless.
Oh, sorry. So good to be back here, officially back here in headquarters. Bring it on.
All praise though.
How about everybody online listening? Most High in Christ bless you all too. Hope you're all having a good Sabbath. Today's class is entitled Mouth Almighty, Tongue Everlasting. You have to be my age to understand what that's talking about as far as the song. If you don't, then, are you from New York? You would know. Come on, don't wait, Google it. Come on, you so young kids. I can tell you it wasn't Lil Wayne. All right. Okay, mouth. Here's the thing. I don't know where to start at. Let's start in, before the scripture, let me say this. This truth is about endurance. Can you endure? Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Whatever trials come in your life, whatever situation you go through, you have to endure. I'm going to give you a couple things that will help you through those trials. One, those trials are meant to try you to see if you really believe what these scriptures say. Two, the Lord always gives you two things. The Lord will always give you a way to escape, it being through class or through your level of understanding you have, that you kind of figure out how to navigate or how to endure through it. If you're spiritual, you have a discernment. But know for certainty that we're going to have trials. All right? So I say that for this point. Because the Most High also sends counselors to you. He'll send people to you that'll give you counsel, and sometimes it's hard for people to take that counsel. They don't see it, and they go to start running their mouths. All right, real quick. Proverbs 15. 15:22.
The book of Proverbs.
What's that feedback from?
Book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 22. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established.
Right. So it says, without counsel, purposes are disappointed. So I want to tell you, without counsel, without finding spiritual men and women to give you advice, purposes are disappointed. Now look what it says. Next part. It says, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. Now, you're going to have a multitude of counselors if you're smart. That what you will go through. So if you want to make a decision, you want to do something that you think it should be a good move, life-changing, whatever it might be, you seek counsel. And there's safety in that. When different people who are spiritual, don't go look for counsel from somebody who don't have understanding or not proven in their understanding or their time in this truth. Don't counsel across or down, counsel up, for the most part. And then once you get that counsel, it's better to make decisions on what you're going to do. Here's the thing. When a lot of people are telling you one thing and they're spiritual people, it's good that you listen because you may not be seeing it. Trust me, I know personally. So it's good to listen. Now watch this. I want you to jump to verse 2.
Proverbs 15 and 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness.
Right. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright. They will know how to properly put together these precepts to explain something. So now I'm asking, can you all understand why I connected verse 22 with verse 2? Anybody? The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright, but the mouth of foolish poureth out foolishness. It's not trick. Anybody, raise your hand. It's not a trick question. I just want to see if you could put together why I put those two scriptures together. Yeah, try.
Shalom, Bishop. Because in verse 2, it's letting you know that if the wise is putting together statements based over the precepts, the counsel they give you is going to be based over the precepts.
So watch this. Stay right there. No, stay. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright. So say that again now. Let me hear it.
Damn, I forgot. So the tongue of the wise uses
knowledge aright.
Knowledge aright. They're gonna put together counsel based over the scriptures. So the counsel they give you is going to be biblically based.
Right. Now, how do you pair that with verse 22? Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in a multitude of counsels, they are established. It's not a trick question. Okay, let's do this. Think about yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You want counsel on something, you go for counsel. Mm-hmm. It's telling you in verse 2, the tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright. So a wise person would know how to use knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. Now you who are seeking counsel, right? You're the one seeking counsel. It tells you in a multitude of counselors, I lost my place, purposes is without counsel, purposes are disappointed.
Without
you don't. Okay, let me help you. You don't see the person who give you counsel, who's wise. You don't see their counsel because you don't want that. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed. You don't want that counsel from that person. You don't view that person that he's going to instruct you right. You know why people don't do that a lot of times? Because they already have their mind made up on what they want to do. They, in our mind, we don't even realize in our minds a lot of times we will avoid certain things, counsel from people, because we don't want it. We don't want to hear it. And sometimes it comes out in classes, in conversations, but we will dismiss it. Let me tell you some more counsel. You can sit down. I want to say this about counsel real quick. In a multitude of counsels, there's safety. But you as a spiritual man, you have to be able to now make decisions on your own also. What do I mean by that? Liam, what do I mean by that? As a spiritual man, you're going to have to make decisions on your own also.
Bishop, that's saying there's times where you know what you're supposed to do, basically. Like if the situation comes up, you know the scriptures, you know what you're supposed to do. Then there's other times where you may not be sure. Then you go seek the counselors.
Right. You should always get counsel first. I would always say in certain decisions, you should get counsel. But what it's telling you is that your mind at times, you know exactly what you need, but you have to make sure first you taking in the information. You hear everybody what they got to say, and then after that, you discern. A lot of times people don't want to do that. They just want to do it their way. We can't control a person's life. We could tell you what we see in something, but it's up to you to decide what you want to do. But if you're spiritual, you're going to see a spiritual man is going to put those precepts together right and make it clear to you and say, no, this is why I'm saying this for. This is why I'm giving this advice. A lot of times things don't work in a certain way because purposes are disappointed because men don't want that. They don't want to be told. You know, that's in most men. We have that spirit that we want to do things our way. We have to be able to suppress that. Now watch this real quick. I'm going to go from that. Sirach 34. Verse 9.
Sirach chapter 34, verse 9. A man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom.
Right. So a man has traveled, he knoweth many things. It says, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. So I tell you again, when you counsel up. You find a man that has experience in this truth. For the first, in my mind, when I look at brothers, first 1, 2, 3, 4 years, not that you can't grow in understanding, you grow. But it's generally, in my experience, year 4, 5, 6 is when you're going to hit that space where you're going to find out if you have wisdom or how you move. That's when I start looking at you a little more experienced opposed to somebody just walking in. Because now you're going to start dealing with a lot of hard-hitting questions concerning you personally. It's easy when you first come. You put on fringes, you don't eat pork, those things. Shut up, sis. That stuff is easy. It's now when you start working on the inner man. So best for you to get around men that experience to tell you how to navigate around certain things. A lot of us here who are older in the spirit, I hate to use this word, but it's the only word I could think of. We were the crash test dummies on how to figure this stuff out. And we're trying to instruct you how to avoid certain things. The traveled man is a man that's been through things. You found here with leadership here, these are the first fruits of IUIC. Made many mistakes. Many mistakes. It's for you men to cleave onto these men to avoid those things, to avoid those same pitfalls. You all are supposed to be a better servant or a more alert servant in the amount of time that you've been in compared to some of us who've been a little longer, because you're getting a lot more information. But you have to value it. You have to see these men as men that can instruct you. Or you could be self-willed and think you have a plan and you know how you're going to do it. And we'll see how that works out for you. So let's read on.
A man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom.
And he that has much experience will declare wisdom. Now, on to the class I want to talk about. I'm going to tell you something that I've learned. It is true. Less is best, especially when speaking. Knowing how to keep quiet. Why do I say that for? There's no wrong answer. I just want to hit, well, that's wrong. Take that back. Yeah, there could be wrong answers. You may say that. Let me not go that far. But I just want to hear, why do you think, I'm trying to get you guys to start reasoning with me. Why do you think I say that less is best? It's scriptural, but I'm asking, why do you think I'm saying that for? Nobody. But it's like a hospice.
Shalom, Bishop. Most High Christ bless. Because you could talk yourself into a ditch. You could start saying and mumbling things that you really shouldn't even be talking about.
Very good.
Into foolishness. Very
good. And that's especially as a young man. I'm going to share something with you. Me as a young man, I used to say some crazy stuff. And I said this before in class. I was young in the truth, and I was studying. I thought I knew the scriptures. And I went to Bishop Nathaniel, and I told him I found a precept where you could smoke weed. I could just laugh. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. He kicked me out the office. He kicked me. I said, get out of here. What the hell are you talking about? But you know what happened? It's because I thought I knew something. Damn, I was dumb as hell. I can never forget his face, the way he looked at me. He said, what? Can I get out the office? What are you talking about? Just get out of here. And I was a grown man. I wasn't like a little kid, so it stung a little more too. Because I'm like, you think he's talking to him? I got the precepts. So the precepts was the precept I thought I had. Don't laugh, please, because I'm sensitive right now. It was about the precept with the mandrakes with the sister. I said, yeah. And he's like, what? Anyway, it was best that I didn't talk. But in my mind, when I went, I was so certain that I knew what I was talking about, and I was so foolish. And he knows how to humiliate you. Matthew 12. So less is best. You just keep quiet. You think if the Lord wanted us to smoke weed, it wouldn't be clear in the scriptures? I finally figured out, no, I can't do it. But I thought I had it. Watch this. Matthew 12:36.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 36.
So let me ask you before I say, none of you thought that before that you could smoke weed when you came in? Not in the world, when you came in truth. You thought it was all right? See, I wasn't alone. One brother out of 1,000. Damn. Damn, you simple as hell. Damn it. You can't smoke weed. Damn. Watch this.
Matthew 12 and 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. That scripture seems very clear to understand. Every idle word that you speak, every word that comes out of your mouth, my mouth, in the day of judgment, we're going to have to give account thereof. Meaning, you're going to answer for it. And we read it like it's just there, but it says that you're going to give account for every idle word. Now, I'm going to tell you, I spoke many idle words in my life, and I'm praying the Lord have mercy on me. One was weed smoking. That was an idle word. That's not substantiated scripturally. God said, you're going to give account for what comes out of your mouth. So less is best. When you manifest your speech, you manifest what's on your mind. And you didn't keep it contained here and suppress it. You blurted it out of your mouth. That means whatever your thought was strong enough to get you to now speak, opposed to subduing the thought. So mind you, every idle word, verse 37.
For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Your words are going to be justified if it's as it is written, and you're going to be condemned if it's not according to the word of God. But why would you say something that's not according to this word? How did that happen? Watch this. Jump up to verse 34.
O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
That's why. Because out of your heart, your mouth is going to speak. What your mind is filled with is going to manifest in your speech eventually. So a lot of times what we do, we sit back and we listen and we're like, okay.
Bishop.
Yep. Hey, Deacon.
Shalom. The scripture you quoted, every idle word. Can we look up the word idle? I want to show y'all something. Why the Bible uses the word idle. Because a lot of y'all talk and you don't think what you're saying, especially Negroes. Could you make it a little bit bigger? Thank you. It says lazy, indolent, slothful, work shy, shiftless. You ever heard somebody say he's a shiftless Negro? Inactive, sluggish, lethargic, listless, remiss, negligent, meaning you're just speaking what comes to you. There's no discretion. The Bible speaks about use discretion. There's no discretion. You're negligent of the others around you. You don't care what you say. Look at the terminology for idle, do nothing, good for nothing. So you're saying things that are of no benefit to the hearers. They're only going to offend. They're only going to make people upset. They're only going to make people look at you like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? I thought he was such and such. So that's why the Bible says every idle word you shall give an account for. Why? Because someone already told you, bro, don't talk like that. And you don't want to be corrected. So why does it say in the day of judgment? Now you're against the final judge. The brothers around you corrected you. The sisters around you corrected you. You felt there was nothing wrong with you. So now you're sitting in judgment and you have to give an account for your words. That's scary. That was the point I wanted to make.
Very good point. So watch what it says. Verse 34 again.
O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
What is it letting you know? whatever is in your mind is what's going to manifest in your speech. Whatever is in your mind is going to manifest eventually in your behavior. I'm gonna get back to the title of the class in a second. All of you that have social media pages, Instagram, you know what you see. You see half these women half naked, twerking, whatever. And you scroll through it, you right through it. You shouldn't be looking at it, but you scroll through it, you see it. Because you can't avoid it. It's in the world, it's around you. But when that thing is in your mind like that, there's a motion that happens from your mind, connected from your mind to your mouth to your hand. Your hand will go and you'll click like. How the hell you got to like it? Know who you are, you click like. That's another function. Why? You see it, you go, damn. Look at her. Words come out your mouth because that's how your mind thinks. And it's so consumed in your mind that now it manifests in your speech and your behavior. And then you don't want to hear the counsel because you think you know. Brothers tell you, listen, get rid of that, get a flip phone, whatever it might be, because that's what you struggle with. Whatever it might be you struggle with. But it eventually manifests because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth begins to move. So I always say less is best. You can always be safe when you don't say nothing. Keep quiet. Jump to Sirach 28. At least it shows that you have some type of self-control and you don't utter nonsense. Sirach 28 and verse 25. Watch this.
Sirach chapter 28, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 28, verse 25. And weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and bar for thy mouth.
It says what?
And weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and bar for thy mouth.
It says, and weigh thy word in a balance. Weigh what comes out of your mouth. Be mindful of what you're going to say. Is it going to be to the edification? If it's going to bring understanding, is it going to help? Or is what you're going to say going to be the oracles of fools? Where do you weigh your words at? Right here. But if it's from here and it goes out your mouth, that means that's what's governing you. Weigh your word in the balance and make a door and bar for thy mouth. Shut up. Trust me, safety. Shut up. Sometimes saying nothing will show so much wisdom. I hope y'all can understand what I'm saying. Keeping quiet will show so much wisdom. So put that up real quick. Somebody sent it to me. Who has Jan? Did you send it to the IT team? There's a Bishop. Bishop quoted this before. All right, when you guys get it, real quick. In the meanwhile, go to James 3. Start with verse 1.
Said James 3, sir?
Yeah, James 3 and 1.
James chapter 3 and verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Okay. Read on. Read 1 and 2.
For in many, James chapter 3 verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body.
Okay. So real quick, in verse 2, it's going to go with what's going to start talking about the tongue. Everybody know that, right? So now I want to understand verse 1. My brethren, be not many mastered, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. Who can explain it? Who wants to give it a shot? Okay, I guess no. Is this how it is normally? I'm asking deacons here, New York. Hey, deacons in New York. Is it deacons in? This how they are? Really? They don't raise their hand? Okay. Wow.
They're in awe.
Okay, so I guess I just got to teach them. Nobody, no, I'm okay. Sirach, let's go to Sirach. Damn. Oh, we got some. Okay, all praises.
Hey, Shalom, Most High in Christ bless, Bishop.
Shalom.
What it's talking about is basically try not to be too many people's counselors because you're gonna receive the you're gonna receive the judgment for them. Like
No, but just stay there. I'm gonna read it again. Just stay right there. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same as a perfect man. Are we perfect men? Okay, good. And able to bridle is a perfect man and able to bridle the whole body. So now back to verse 1. Be not many masters. Be not, I'm sorry, my son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. Same about being many masters. You don't have to get involved in everything. Can I tell you something from this end right here as leadership? There's a lot of things that deacons deal with that I don't. There's things I deal with that you can't be involved in anything. You know why? Because when you're involved in too much things, you're going to make mistakes. That's why he says, I wish they all were prophets. Let me ask you a question. Did not Moses make mistakes with his speech?
Sir.
And what did it cost him? He didn't see the promised land. Too much. Sometimes you can't be involved in everything. There's men that's thorough, instructed. I don't need to hear it unless if they can't handle it, then fine. Okay, but everything, no. Everything can't pass in front of you. When you got that mind that I want to be involved in this, I want to know this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Boy, you're going to receive the greater condemnation. How do we know you're going to receive the greater condemnation? Let's go back to James. Look what it says.
My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Read on.
For in many things we offend all.
It says, for in many things we offend all. In many things we offend all. In many things we offend all. You think you're going to live a life without committing an offense? What does James 17:1 says? No, James. Luke 17:1. Don't listen to me. Luke 17:1.
Luke 17:1. Then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible, but that offenses will come.
It said it is impossible to go without offending. It is impossible. That's what, stay right there. That's why I said, for in many things we offend. Because it is impossible that offenses will come. Read on.
It is impossible, but that offenses will come. But woe unto him through whom they come.
But woe to that man that bring that offense. Read on.
It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones.
That he should make a mistake and offend one of these little ones. So great is the condemnation. So guess what? Let's go back. Verse 2.
For in many things, this is James chapter 3, verse 2. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word.
So if any man don't offend in word, that's impossible. We just read it. It's impossible offense is going to come. So minimize by not trying to be in everything. Minimize with the amount of talking you do. Shh. A wise man, sometimes he just knows that he could just keep quiet. I'm not talking about you see something wrong, but you don't got to be involved with everything. Because it's impossible not to offend. We're learning. I'm telling you something, the building of this nation, we right here, we're learning. To this day, I'm still learning. I just learned, I don't want to know everything. I'm good. On a need to know basis on certain things. So read that verse again. 2.
For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man.
The same as a perfect man. And we know that's not true. Read on.
And able also to bridle the whole body.
So now, if you're a perfect man, you should be able to control your whole body. Everything you say you do is going to always be right. That's what I said. Don't be many masters, because you yourself is trying to get right. You yourself trying to be right. Stop talking. Damn. Mayday, I'm trying to save you. It's impossible. So mitigate it. Because by every idle word, we're going to give account in that day. So let's make those idle words as least as possible. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's read on.
Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turned about their whole body. Behold, also the ships, which through they be so great and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth.
So I'm going to read now. I want to read 2 on down. For many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same as a perfect man, and able to bridle the whole body. But it says, behold, we put bits in horses' mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn about the whole body. So we put a bit in a horse's mouth. You know, a bridle in a bit, you put in the mouth, that you can control the whole body. You can move it. What is the bit that is supposed to be in our mouth to control our body? It's not a trick question, gosh, guys. There, right here. The what?
The Bible.
The Bible is supposed to be the bit in our mouth. We're supposed to be speaking the oracles of God. Watch this real quick. Go to Psalms 32.
Psalms.
Psalm 32 and 9.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 32, verse 9. Be not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee.
Okay, so now it says, be not as the horse or the mule, which have no understanding. Those are dumb animals, what they're saying, right? It says, whose mouth must be held with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee. Who can explain that bottom part? That their mouths must be held with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee. Lest they come near unto thee. Nobody? Okay, there we go.
Shalom, Bishop. If they don't have the, like, as for man, if we don't have the commandments.
No.
Oh,
I want you to do just the horse.
just the animal? Okay.
Just the horse. It says.
They're going to go out of control. They're just going to go in their nature, full nature.
And what?
Their nature.
Right. And it says, lest it come near unto thee.
Meaning they're going to go wild. They're going to go out of control.
And lest they come near unto thee.
Meaning.
You said it. See, what you said is the right, but just now I want you to explain the lest they come near unto thee.
Oh, you're going to fall into the same category.
No, you was on it. You had it. You had it right there behind you.
Meaning lest they're going to bite thee.
Not just bite thee, but what horses do bite. That's right. Okay. Lest they come near unto thee. Lest they hurt you. A horse that's not controlled, it will kick you. It'll bite you. You have to control it. That's why they put the bridle. They tame it. So now with man, the bridle is what for us? The Bible. Now, if the Bible is not controlling us and directing us, lest they come near unto us, lest we do what? Lest we do what? Yeah.
offend each other, offend that person.
Lest we cause damage with our mouth. You understand that? So we need to have the words of God. It's important to follow instruction that you get. Let the word of God move you. Let it learn to silence you when time be, when to speak, lest you become an offense. That's what we just read in Luke 17. Lest you offend one of these little ones. With what? Your mouth. Everybody understand?
Bishop, can I give a precept that proves that you got to know how to speak to the people?
Yes.
And the words are like food. Colossians chapter 4, verse 5 and 6. This is proof the word is like food in your mouth.
Colossians chapter 4, verse 5. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt.
Because those words are like food. You got to season them right. Read on.
Seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer every man.
You can't just talk anything. You can't just speak any way. Especially if you're a teacher and you represent the Most High, you got to know how to answer people, or else everybody's going to look at you crazy. Very important you understand that.
Read that last precept again.
Let your speech be always with grace.
Let your speech be always with grace, because you're going to give account for everything that comes out of our mouth. We're going to give account. So let your speech always be with grace. Read on.
Seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer every man.
And every man in every season, you know how to answer. Some man you just don't answer. According to certain people, follow. You know, no, it's time to keep quiet. Not even answer him. All right, so read that. You pulled that up already? Read that.
It says, watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch your character, for they become your destiny.
That is so deep. That is so fire right there. I remember Bishop pulled this out a while ago. Know for certainty, it all begins in your thought. It manifests in your speech, and it eventually becomes who you are. And that will be your life. Damn. So watch this. That's a good precept, Deacon. Back to James. I want to read James 1, verse 26.
James chapter 1, verse 26. If any man among you seem to be religious, and brideth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain.
So if a man seems to be righteous, religious, has faith in what he's talking about, but he does not know how to bridle his tongue, he's deceiving his own self. He believes he knows, he's deceiving his own self. So you're not really in this if you can't control your speech. You're just a detriment opposed to helping build something. But here's the point that I get out of that is that he's deceiving himself because he really believes he's right. Meanwhile, people around him tell him, no, don't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. Stop. Listen. Back to James 3. Where do we leave off in James 3? Verse 3.
Yes, sir. We was at verse 3. Oh, we actually read about the ships and the.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's verse 4.
So we read Psalms 32. That's right. Okay, so read verse 4.
The book of James 3, verse 4. Behold, also the ships which.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I didn't explain it yet. I didn't read it. Go back to the 32 about the damage. That's what I was talking about. So as you go back to Psalms 32 and 9, I'm going to read this in James 3. Yes, behold, we put bits in horses' mouth that they may obey us, and we turn about the whole body. That's okay. Thank you. Let's go back now. Let's read that.
Psalms 32, verse 9. Be ye not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee.
Right. It has to be controlled lest that horse does damage. Likewise, us. Our mouths must be controlled lest we do damage with our mouth. Now watch this. Go to Sirach 28. And sometimes we don't see it. Sometimes we are blinded, we are deceived that we're not like this. We think that we got it all together. And meanwhile, we are wrong. That's why it's good to have counselors around you, people of understanding that'll tell you, nah, don't do that. I just always say, if everybody's telling you something's wrong and you've been around these brothers, then if you don't think it's best, you just shut up. Because maybe you're deceiving yourself. Psalms 32:17.
Psalms or Sirach?
I'm talking, don't listen to me. Sirach 28. Oh, yeah, come on. I don't know yet. Sirach 28:17.
Sirach 28, verse 17. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones.
Right. It says what? The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh bones. Look what it's saying about this tongue and speech, how powerful speech is. It can break somebody. You can destroy someone just with speech. That's how powerful the mouth is. Now watch what it says. Read on.
Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
But so much more have fallen by the tongue. Many has fallen by the edge of the sword, but more has fell and have been destroyed by man's or woman's speech. That's deep. Read what it says next.
Well is he that is defended from it, and have not passed through the venom thereof, who have not drawn the yoke thereof, nor hath been bound in her bands.
But there's some that's not affected by it, and we're going to touch that in a second. So let's go back to 18.
Hey, Bishop, before we move on,
yeah,
can I just pull out something you said there about the power of the tongue? Could you read it one more time? About the sword and the tongue. Watch this.
Many have fallen by the edge of the sword.
They use that for killing. Watch this.
But not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
You know what they mean by not so many as fallen by the tongue? What's the greatest weapon now that could destroy a man's reputation overnight? Social media. I've seen people attack us on social media with lying words. We on the defensive for months, for weeks, because one person used their tongue to tell a lie and do a video or put a post or make something up that was unfounded, and everybody believes it. It goes worldwide, especially in the Israelite community. That's why it says many has fallen by the tongue. There's people who's edited videos. They still bringing up that Deacon I thought don't like Trayvon Martin. They still circulating. New caps are popping up. Okay, because GMS edited video, they chopped up video of him going back and forth with a scoffer in the street and put his words and said, to hell with Trayvon Martin. And y'all don't know what the original content was, but they formulated those lying words together to destroy him for people who don't know him. They do it to the bishop all the time. They do it to me all the time. So the Bible is right. And they know how much you people love social media. You don't search things out, and you can't tell who's telling the truth and who's not because you don't know us.
So watch this. Verse 18 one more time.
Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
Read on.
Well is he that is defended from it, and have not passed through the venom thereof, who have not drawn the yoke thereof, nor have been bound in her bands.
Look what it says. Well is he that is defended from it. Defended from, how are you defended from the tongue? How is it that a man or woman will be defended from the tongue? Job 5, And we're going to come right back here. Job 5:21.
The book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 21. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh.
Watch this, verse 8.
Verse 8. I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause.
That's how you're defended from the tongue. You seek unto God. But it says many people fall by that. But you will seek unto God, and God will hear your cause. So as Deacon was saying, many has come against us in all kind of slander and lies, but we trust in God. Most High is going to work this out. We're just going to do what we're told to do. We're not going to rail for rail. We're not going to start speaking evil and lying and making stuff up to try to convince the narrative of people. No, because we know if we do that, every idle word we're going to give account thereof. Hope nobody got that mind to now slander against somebody. No. We're going to trust in God. He's going to hear our cause. Now go back to Sirach. Watch what it says. Verse 19 one more time.
Sirach 28:19. Well is he that is defended from it, and have not passed through the venom thereof, who have not drawn the yoke thereof, nor have been found in her bands.
Right. So it says, well is he that is defended from it, from the tongue, and have not passed through the venom thereof, the venom of the tongue, who have not drawn the yoke thereof. Because the words affect. Now I'm gonna tell you, brothers, in marriages, you go ahead and offend your wife. You go ahead and verbally abuse her, and she don't carry that yoke on her for years. It'll break them. You all understand that? Y'all carry that on to see what happens, see what you're going to get. Years later, she's still affected by those words. That's what it says. Listen, every idle word, best you put a millstone around your neck and be cast into the sea. Then you offend one of his little ones. Because the words leave your mouth and that's it. It's over. Close your mouth, you're quiet. But the effects of it still lingers. That's why it said, and have not drawn the yoke thereof, nor hath been bound in her bands. Because those words now affect the person where they have trauma, and they're bound by those words. Read.
For the yoke thereof is a yoke of iron, and the bands thereof are bands of brass. The death thereof is an evil death. The grave were better than it.
He says, you know what it's saying? Those words now, how it affects a person. It said, the yokes thereof of yokes of iron, the bands thereof are bands of brass, meaning it's strong, the words, the tongue. The death thereof is an evil death. You are killing a person on the inside. Physically, they're alive, but their spirit is destroyed. It's better for them to die physically than to be broken mentally at the hand of your mouth. And every idle word, you will give account in the day thereof. So less is best if it's not to the edifying. What's that one you pulled, Deacon? The one you just pulled, verse 5 and 6. 4 and 5? What was the last something it said? Right. Give me that one right there again. One more time.
Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer every man.
Then this time it says, let your speech be seasoned with the word of God. Always that you know how to answer. How you know how to express what you have to say, and when you express it, it's being bridled with the word of God. A lot of times we speak at the side of our head. We speaking out of our heart what we feel. It ain't to no edification. It's not going to fix anything. It's just to gender strife. You're not looking for solutions or conclusions. You just the same old venom and dysfunction just keeps on spiraling over and over. When you speak, especially in correction, I'm a sidebar, you're looking for what? A change. You're looking to make a change, to make things better. Not to browbeat, to beat down, and after you beat it down, then what? What do you have left? Something broken. You understand? Don't do that with your children, your wife. Wife, don't do that with your husband. If it doesn't work, you tell your husband he ain't nothing. He's a band. You break him for what? That's your man. You breaking your own toy.
Bishop,
yeah.
That's why they say to use the word.
I didn't mean that like that. So don't do that. That's not how I meant it. That's not how I meant it. See, I got to watch my mouth. See, I said it came out. That came out wrong. Go ahead, Deacon.
Read it again. I want to show you something.
Let your speech be always with grace.
With grace, because some people open their mouth. Grace is mercy. And to speak gracefully, you're speaking in a way where you connect with the person. But some people, they take every chance to open their mouth and tear you down. So that's why he says always, read it again.
Let your speech be always with grace.
With grace. That's how grace and truth came from Christ. Christ wasn't walking around trying to tear everybody. He came, I said, no greater love than a man laid on his life for his friends. He was trying to build us up. He was trying to show us where we went wrong. He wanted us to believe on him. So he had to speak gracefully. He had to speak mercifully. He had to speak in a way where people connect with him. As men who are unlearned in the characteristics of Christ, we do not speak gracefully to our people. We don't speak with mercy. We look at the flaws in people and we point out those things and we tear them down rather than build them up. Especially us as leaders, that's what the bishop is trying to show. You don't have to, remember when we was growing up, we didn't know that this was in the Bible. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Because there's a way you could correct somebody. Like, for instance, what the bishop said, you know how sensitive your woman is. Honey, do I look fat in this? You probably be thinking in your head, damn, she need to lose weight, but how do I say it? No, babe. But me and you could go to the gym together. We both could work out together. It's going to help her. It's going to go a long way. Maybe she is fat, but you know how sensitive your wife is. You don't just say that. Like the bishop said, she'll be telling you 20 years later, why are you looking at that woman? You think I'm fat? No matter how much weight she lose, she's not going to forget that you spoke to her that way. So there's a certain way that you speak to people. It's not always tear down, insult, rip apart, disrespect. And a lot of men know how to do that more than building people up. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, let me tell you. Yeah, you want to create problems in your life, boy. You carry that for a long time. Remember in Matthew 4:19. Matthew 4:19. We're going to come right back here. Read that for me.
Matthew 4, verse 19. And he saith unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.
Christ said, follow me, and I'm going to make you fishers of men. Now, the art of fishing. Do you go fishing with a stick of dynamite? That's not how it works. You understand? You got to learn how to engage a person, how to move them. Now, doesn't mean you be a Christian. I'm not talking about that. That's not what I'm talking about. No. But you use different reels for different type of fishing. You go fishing in deep sea, you got a heavy reel with a big cord. You go fishing in the lake, you got a light reel with a light cord. There's different bait. You're not going to put a shrimp on a reel that you're going to go fish in a lake, because that doesn't work in that environment. They don't know what a shrimp is. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So when you see ministry and you're teaching, the desired result is to get somebody to repent. So if a brother's walking by, and I'm saying this because this happened in a camp before. I'm not going to say where, but it was a brother walking by, Issacharite brother walking by with his wife. She was pregnant, dressed out of order, and they had a baby. And the brother who was teaching was Judah, I believe. Damn. And he was teaching Deuteronomy, whatever he was teaching. And all of a sudden, he just changed as they're walking by and went to Deuteronomy 22:5 and began to say, these women out here dressed like whores. And I'm like, all you do is provoking this man to have to do something. Because now you're embarrassing his wife in front of him and his child. Is that going to bring them closer to God? No. They don't know no better. How about you find your words, wisdom reigneth down skill. You learn how to speak and figure how do you engage them to pull them in. He wasn't heckling. He was just walking by. So being fishers of men, you got to know what to say. Let your tongue be seasoned with grace, when to speak. You got brothers listening to you that stand in front of you, listen to you in camp, and then they agree like they're not arguing, they're listening. And you're in their face screaming at them. For what? He's right there, they're listening. Learn. Get some kind of skill. You understand what I'm trying to say? So being fishers, you become skilled in how you operate. You want a desired result from your wife? Then you got to find ways to engage her and talk to her. And likewise with you women, with your men. You're not going to get, my wife won't get certain things from me. She know if I ain't in the mood, don't do that. Don't come at me. If I don't want to talk, I say, shut. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to feel like talking right now. The more you talk, the more I'm going to shut down. Figure out a different way how to get my attention when you want it. That's a skill. All right? All right, let's go back. Sirach 28, verse 21.
Sirach 28, verse 21. The death thereof is an evil death.
The death that is caused by the tongue is an evil death. Read on.
The grave were better than it.
It's saying being dead is better than the death that the tongue will inflict. Whatever, it's hard to even formulate the words of that death in my mind. That damn, you have broken them so much in their mind that they're dead to you, but they're still alive. Show you how dangerous that tongue is. Read on.
It shall not have rule over them that fear God.
But those that fear God, they're going to trust in God. That's what we read back in Job 5 and 28, I think it was. But then that fear God, you're not going to allow that to destroy you. You have to be strong enough to not allow those words to break you. Read on.
Neither shall they be burned with the flame thereof.
The flame of the tongue. Read on.
Such as forsake the Lord shall fall into it.
Such as forsake the Lord is going to fall into it and do what? Now they're going to try to get back, rendering evil for evil. They're going to, and guess what? In that day, you won't give account. You're going to give account of your speech also. That's what it says, no railing for railing. Read.
Such as forsake the Lord shall fall into it.
It says what?
Such as forsake the Lord shall fall into it.
Read on.
And it shall burn in them and not be quenched. It shall be sent upon them as a lion and devour them as a leopard.
So the tongue is so dangerous. Real quick, Bishop just said something. Let me read it. I saw what he said. He spoke about concerning Jezebel, and that's right. She lied and got 2 men killed. Her mouth. How many times you seen that sisters lie? She's going to give account of those words in the day of judgment. Get men locked up. Many have been killed, destroyed by that tongue. We had a brother, one of you brothers posted that video, one of you deacons, or somebody's class, when a woman said that her husband raped their daughter for years, getting them to think that, until they finally found out he never did it. But she hated so much that she made her daughters grow up believing that their father raped them. That's evil as hell. Damn, that's evil. She did, well,
Bishop, she admitted the truth when the daughters were fully grown. After the relationship between the father and the daughter was destroyed, Then she admitted that she lied because she was upset about it.
And like it was nothing. I remember seeing it like, yeah, okay,
Yes.
I did it. And okay,
I did,
I'm
you're
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
That was it. Destroyed a relationship that you can't get back those years. Damn, you're going to give account in a day for that tongue.
And that's why, if you notice now with us, especially leadership, we stay away from a lot of you women. After my experience with Gina Blue, she doing all them videos, taking pictures with everybody and throwing lies up on a regular basis. I'm afraid of the new women that come in. I don't want to take no pictures with nobody. I don't want nobody around me because of the damage when she launched that attack on us. From meeting us one time at Passover. I didn't even know who she was. I was sure I didn't know her until she put a picture up of me next to her at Houston Passover. And then one email, she said, yes, I do know him. Because she was arguing with another sister in her camp about a blanket. And everybody on social media believed that we had a relationship because I answered the email and she put a photo up. So that taught me a lesson about how evil and vindictive and maniacal women can be. Because I never saw that in the world. I never saw no woman do stuff like that in the world until I came into this truth. I've sat in counsel and watched women tell lies that were unbelievable, who were most high in grace blessed. So the Lord is showing me something that I understand why Christ said he committed himself to no man, for he knew what was in man and needed not that any should testify. Christ was terrified of the people. Said he walked no more in jewelry, because what were they doing eventually? They were trying to set him up to lie on him. Yep. That's how dangerous words are, and that's what the bishop is bringing out in the class. You saying the wrong words.
So watch this. Where we left off at?
Verse 23.
Read.
Such as forsake the Lord shall fall into it, and it shall burn in them and not be quenched. It shall be sent upon them as a lion and devour them as a leopard.
Read.
Look that thou hedge thy possession about with thorns.
You know, it says, look that you hedge your possession about with thorns. So the analogy is what? You have thorns. It's hard to get through. You don't want to get pricked. Somebody don't want to get pricked. It says, look that you hedge your possessions with thorns. Read on.
And bind up thy silver and gold.
Now, what is it talking about your possessions and your silver and gold that you're supposed to bind up? Silver and gold is something precious, right? What does it tell you that you have to bind up and you have to protect? From the tongue. Yeah, right there.
Your words.
No, it's telling you you have to bind up something, hedge about with thorns. You have to protect it from the word. What do you have to protect? It's referred to as silver and gold, and you have to put hedge around your possession so it can be safe from that tongue. Anybody? Right behind him. Right next to him. Right there.
Shalom, leadership. Is talking about family,
No.
wife, children?
One more person. That's it. Somebody else. What's the try?
The mind.
The mind. It's telling you protect your mental health. Trust in God. Protect your mental health because somebody could come and destroy it. And us as leaders, we have to be very mindful what come out of mouth because we know you all hang on every word. So we have to be mindful of the words that come out of mouth, how we speak, what we say, the counsel we give, that we now don't destroy anybody. And likewise you, because we all going to give account for what we say. It better be as it is written, that thou mightst be justified in thy words, justify in thy sayings, and overcome when thou art judged. Every idle word. So for you all, it's telling you, trust in God, and make sure your mind is strong. Gird up the loins of your mind that somebody doesn't come and destroy your mental health. Because once you're broken, it's hard to fix. It's hard to repair. You understand that? Okay, can you at least respond? It's rough. This is going to be a rough 3 hours, boy. Damn. Damn. Can we get like when I ask, do you all understand? If you all could just put like a sound on, like they saying they understand, I'll take that. Just something, please. I'm trying to engage everybody. Everybody's like, hey, whatever. We want prophecy. Damn, walking with the giants. You be walking with the giants with poor mental health. What kind of giant will you be? Damn. Freaking broken giant walking around. Poor, woe is me. Freaking depressed giant. Freaking. Oh gosh, I forgot what I was talking about. First Peter, gird up the loins of their mind. So that's all we need is a freaking depressed giant. Big old oath. Gird up the loins of your mind. Peter's what? Somebody get to me. Thank you.
1 Peter 1:13.
Yeah, that's it. 1:13.
1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind. Be sober and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ.
That's what we're just reading about, putting thorns around your possession. Read on.
As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance, but as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
Be holy in all manner of what?
Conversation.
So the former lust was what? A filthy conversation, an evil conversation, a conversation that was not to edification, a destructive conversation. So it says, gird the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is brought unto you by the revelation of Jesus Christ. Christ being revealed unto you, he's the example. As obedient children, obedient to what? Obedient to what? To the teachings of Christ, what this Bible's talking about. When Christ reviled, when he was reviled, did he revile back? No. When he spoke, it was always to the edification, right? Now watch what it says. As obedient children, not fasten yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance. So, in our ignorance, we didn't know better. But now that we know, and now that we know we're going to give account for every idle word we speak, we better be careful. There'll be no, but I didn't understand. No. So mitigate. Read what it says next. Verse 15.
But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
You better be holy in all manner of conversation. Your conversation better be right. My conversation be right. And that's something we learning. You see how those opprobrious words got me, right? Let's go there real quick. Where's that again? I'm asking you. I'm actually for where's that? Yeah. Sirach what?
Sirach 23 and 15. 15.
Okay.
Sirach 23 verse 15. The man that is accustomed to opprobrious words will never be reformed all the days of his life.
Why will he never be reformed all the days of his life? Because that's how his mind works. That's how he thinks. That's always what is opprobrious words? Look up the word opprobrious for brothers that don't know.
Opprobrious.
Opprobrious. There we go.
Of language, expressing scorn or criticism.
Look what it says. Abusive, derogatory, disparaging. Drop that arrow. Insulting, offensive, slanderous, libelous. Sisters, this one is for you. Bitchy.
Damn. Damn.
Bitchy. Nigga, you banned. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Where's that again? No, forget it. I'm not gonna go. Yeah, okay. I don't even know some of those words. Those above. Look at one word in there. What's one word? Stay right there. One word that sticks out. Venomous. Venomous. Think about that venom. When you get bit with it, how it slowly seeps into your system and destroys you from the inside out. And so that's what your tongue can do. This is like somewhere about like the tongue is like asp. I forgot that. Things like in Isaiah, something like that. Right. Let's go back. James 3.
James 3 verse 4. Behold that also the ships, which though they be so great and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth.
So look what it's saying. It's giving an analogy of a ship. A big ship. It has a small little steering wheel that's guiding this big ship. And that little steering wheel can turn that ship in whatever direction it wants it to go. It's telling you, your tongue, it's going to lead you in a direction. It's small member on your body, but it will move you in a direction. Remember there's an old saying, don't let your tongue write a check that your ass can't cash. Yeah. Talking slick. So I'm going to give you another one for me. This is many moons ago. I was teaching on church in 21st, church in Brooklyn. So I was at the train station. Young, slim. See, y'all laughing. Eddie Idle laugh. No, so I was young and slim, and I was on fire. At least I thought I was on fire. And I was like, yeah, the word of God, and give me the precepts. And I was going in. There's a dude, he's like Deacon of Thun's height, tall. And I just looked at him like from distance. I said, yeah, anyway, and we don't care how tall you are out here, because you know that. So I taught. I finished whatever time I finished later. And the dude just sat there. He was quiet. He didn't do nothing. He wasn't arguing. He just said, no, I just said that. So after the finished, I forgot all about what I said. He said, hey, bro, let me talk to you for a second. I said, yeah, what's up? I thought he wanted to, be edified, This Negro walked up on me and said, yo, why was you talking about me? I said, I wasn't talking about you. What you mean talking about you? I said, yeah, come on. He said, don't do that. Now, in my mind, now you lying. You was talking about me, because you said it's tall. So I'm looking at him. I said, but I wasn't talking about you. This dude was like 6'8". You know that dude. But he was cool. He just came home from prison from doing 10 years. But what scared me because he was too cool. He was too mild-mannered. Those are the ones that snap. They he choking the shit. See? But I never forget. I was looking up at him, and I was like, okay. Sir, man, just stand as it is written, Kani. Just as say what the Bible says. And trust me, when I said about we don't care if you're tall, it had nothing to do with what I was talking about. It wasn't like I was talking. I just went from saying Deuteronomy 22 to tall. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, for certain, if you would have grabbed me, it would have been a second before they get him off of me. Because he was tall. He wasn't a small dude. Yeah, be careful what you say. So why did I go there for? What did I say that? What was I just reading? Oh, your tongue. You write, check that your behind can't cash. Thank the Lord has been with me. I didn't suffer no hurt by that, except my ego. felt like I got punked. I'm telling you, that's how I felt. You know, I wasn't trying to get slick anymore. I very nice. You know, shit went out the window. Okay, verse 5.
Even so, the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth.
That little fire is your tongue. How great a matter can a tongue get you caught up in? You say the wrong thing. It changed the whole direction of your life. Be mindful. Less is best. You don't got to talk. Don't feel like you got to finish a sentence or say, shh. It's going to save you a whole lot of headache. How many of us been in situations when afterward we said, damn, I shouldn't have said nothing. Should have just kept my mouth shut.
Bishop.
Yeah.
I want to show that in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 1, about you saying the wrong thing one time and people never look at you the same anymore. Some things you just can't fix because people are going to remember you said that based on the status of the person you was around us.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 1. Dead flies cause the ointment of the apothecary to send forth a stinking savior.
Because it has to be a certain way. Okay, but the flies can mess it up. Now look what the dead flies correlate with. Read on.
So doth a little folly.
You said one small stupid thing around the brothers you with. Read on.
Him that is in reputation.
And you have a reputation. You have status. But you said the wrong thing around them. Read on.
For wisdom and honor.
For wisdom and honor. Because they're expecting you to speak a certain way. And now you're talking reckless. So everybody stops and look at you now like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? You're a captain. You're an officer of such and such. You can't take that back later on because everybody's going to be like, you remember how you was talking before? They're going to say that's your true nature. And they're going to that's going to stick on you. Some people, you cannot clean up that speech. We had a deacon with us who, when he left us, he was unchecked. Everybody from the congregation started calling us up here, telling us, you got to hear the way he's talking to the people. He wasn't talking like that up here, but when he got down there, we got reports. He lost the love of the congregation. Now he's teaching online. Nobody knows who he is. If you go to his page, he has the nerve to teach when we teach. And you'll see 12 views, 9 views. Okay, 5 of those views is because he checked it 5 times. The other 4 are by accident. But his speech is what brought his fall down. And he'll try and convince everybody else we did something to him. Bishop gave him many chances. He didn't learn. So that's why it says right here, a little folly. You could do one wrong thing, one bad night, and everybody looks at you with less respect. And you can't get that back in certain people's eyes. Everybody's not as forgiving.
And it's your reputation. It is what you is. And it's gonna be, you can't shake it in some regards. So back to James 3. I want to read, just get through this real quick. I want to get through verse 6.
Verse 6, James 3 and 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell.
Right. So watch this. It says, the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. Look how it's referring to the tongue. The tongue, which is part of your body, God is referring to it as its own world, as though it's independent from the body. It's moving on its own course away from the body. It's its own world. And it's now is moving in its own way, but it affects the rest of the body. The tongue speaks. Next you know, it says something out of order, you get punched in the face. The eye now is black because of the tongue. The eye didn't say nothing. The tongue is moving on its own independent course. It's a world of iniquity. Y'all better pay attention with that mouth. I'm telling you. Look what it says. It says, I lost my place. 6. The tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body. It's part of the whole body, but it's a world on its own. That's why it says, who can tame it? Who can put it under subjection? That you're mindful for everything that comes. I'm telling you, I deal with this. To control my tongue, my speech, what I say, how I say it, when to say it. Is it to edification? Is it to growth? Or is it to destruction? And all that happens in a blink of a thought. Just like that. And you said the wrong thing. That's why I said you have to meditate in your scriptures daily. It has to be part of your everyday life. You got to breathe things. Everything you do got to be the scriptures. So when you speak, it's just the scriptures flowing out of you. But if you put other stuff in your spirit more than the word of God, that's what's going to come out of you. Plain and simple. Out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaketh. It's who you are. Y'all understand that?
Yes, sir.
I hope so. Hope so. Read that verse again.
And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature. And it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents.
Now, give me the Sirach. Blow on spit on it. Give me that real quick. Sirach 28.
Sirach 28, verse 11. In hasty contention kindleth a fire, and in hasty fighting sheddeth blood. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of thy mouth.
And both come out your mouth. But the question, which one are you going to do? The one that houses your thoughts. The one that's consumed in your mind is the one. If you got that spirit on you, if you all have that spirit on you, and you like contention, some people get off on contention. I'm telling you right now. It's like they happy to be unhappy. Especially a lot of Benjamin women. They just
damn.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm telling you. Yeah, it just is what it is. They be happy to be unhappy. Yeah. That sounds racist, right? Yeah, but it's true. I mean, it's a happy. Where's that again? Isn't James? No, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. No. Right, let's go back. You're gonna put me in another conversation. Go back. Spit on the spot. James
3.
Oh no, as a matter of fact, it is in James. That's where it's at. I just want to get sensual on James 3. What's the wording? Okay, I'm gonna sidetrack real quick because I want to say why I said that for. James 3 and 14.
James 3:14. But if you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth.
Read on.
This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish.
Right, that wisdom of a spirit of contention, strife. It says, bitter envy and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. Sensual, it feels good. It ain't good, but it feels good. People get off on being, I'm telling you, that's their zone. That's their love language. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Some people love contention. They feed on that stuff. Why? Because that's what's in their mind. That's what governs their thought. So if there's strife and contention and envy, it's because it feels good. It's why whatever you do because it feels good. But it's earthly, sensual, It's deceiving. Okay, let's go back up. Verse 7.
Verse 7. For every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed and hath been tamed of mankind.
Right. It's been tamed of mankind. Every kind of beast, Sirach 17 real quick. Every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed and have been tamed of mankind. Read that in Sirach 17:4.
Sirach 17:4. And put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beast and fowls.
God gave us dominion over beast and fowl. We had enough power that all the creations on earth was subject to us. We was able to control them and have dominion over them. The one thing we didn't have dominion over was what? The tongue. That small little member is uncontrollable. How dangerous it is. So if it's like that, it's best that you better have God's laws in your mind daily so you could try to keep it. That's why you don't want to be too much, because offenses will come. You put everybody together, you think there's not going to be problems that's going to arise? It's impossible for there not to be. But well, who those fences come by? So minimize that. Sometimes you don't answer. Thank you. Read on. Thank you, D.
They received the use of the 5 operations of the law.
No. Back to what's the name?
Yes, sir. Sorry. James chapter 3 and verse 7.
8.
Oh, verse 8. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison.
It says this, but the tongue, you can control a lion and a tiger and a bear. You can make a whale jump through a hoop, an elephant stand on a ball. But the tongue that's inside of your body, in your mouth, you can't control it. I struggle with that a lot. You hear me? Oh, I should have said that. I feel like I do it almost every class. Damn. Every class, I'm trying to control it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, you know the loan there, man. Sometimes when I'm teaching, Deacon Item be kicking me below the table. Like, yo. You know, they be seeing it too.
Yeah.
The congregation, they be seeing it. They be like, yo, this deacon crazy, man. What's going on with this dude? You know, Item be watching me like this. You know, Item eyes. He be like this.
and I trust me, I understand. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, I try, but it floats off my tongue so quick sometimes, most of the time, all the time. As I'm saying it, I'm like, why am I saying that for? Why am I saying those words? Damn, Lord, please have mercy. So you understand what I'm trying to say? Everybody get the point?
Yes, sir.
It's like knee-jerk reaction. We have to be able to be careful of what we say, because we're going to answer for it. If it's not to edification, then you're gambling with yourself. As it is written, verbatim. So watch what it says. But the tongue can no man tame. But the tongue can no man tame. Read on.
It is an unruly evil.
Damn.
Full of deadly poison.
That's why it's not good to be in many matters. Be mindful. Certain things just, because there's a good chance, the more you say, there's a good chance you're going to say something wrong. Yep, that's right. The Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Everything you say will be judged by God. And let me stop. Verse 9.
Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God.
You see that? With the same mouth, we praise God, and the same mouth, we disrespect man. A man that's made the similitude of God. The same man, God made him like you, and meanwhile, we will disrespect that man. Now, I'll be honest with you, and it's true, that's one of my biggest pet peeve, is us being disrespectful to each other. We all we got. The world's against us and all we got. And then we in here biting, devouring one another. That don't make no sense to me. But then we praise God with the same mouth. Oh, is that not hypocrisy? Damn. Read on. Verse 10.
Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren?
Stop. Just give me 1 second, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go back up. Ah, boy. What was I saying? What verse we at again?
At verse 10.
Thank you.
James chapter 3, verse 10. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be.
It should not be out of the same mouth. You trying to praise God, but then you cursing or disrespectful to one another. It should not be. We're going to answer for those things. Read on.
Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a vine figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh? Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you?
Now look what it's saying now. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Watch what it says.
Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
You're going to know a man that's endued with knowledge because what's going to come out of him is a good conversation, a godly conversation, and it's going to be coupled with meekness. So now why do you think it says it's going to be good and coupled with meekness? Somebody help me understand. It's not deep. Just think.
He's going to be reading the Bible. He got examples on how he should behave himself.
Very good. Okay. What else? No. And coupled with meekness.
Those are the same examples and experience.
What does it mean to be meek? Who can help me?
To keep God's laws.
Okay. Now watch this. Okay, let me just read it. Watch this. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his work with meekness of wisdom. Verse 'Sorry, my Bible's ripped. Verse 7, go to 4 and 7.
James chapter 4, verse 7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
Okay, so what you said was right. I want to get to the point. The meekness is he's going to submit himself to God. He's going to submit his speech to God. It says, submit yourself to God and resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So what the devil is, you're going to submit yourself to God and resist the devil. In regards to what? You're going to resist the devil in regards to what? Come on, guys. You can't be serious. Your speech, your conversation. You're going to resist saying things that's not scriptural. It's going to fire off your mind. You're like, no, I can't say that. No, I can't do that. No, I can't offend a little one. Sometimes I've getting reports and I've heard brothers talk to, I'm going to start with leadership, talk to leadership, and it's just super disrespectful. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, wow. Damn, you don't see these men as fathers to you, sisters as mothers to you? That's how you talk? That's the old conversation of the world. Brothers here cursing brothers out, each other's out. No, that should not be named amongst us.
You know what's heavy, Bishop, about the scripture you just read and the characteristics you just explained, where it says, out of the same mouth cometh curses and blessings. The first time I ever saw that, where the Bible says this is wrong, was looking at black Hebrew Israelite camps. And one breath they saying, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And in the next breath, IUIC must die. That make no sense. You're supposed to be teaching the people about Yahweh Shai, and you're speaking much evil about other men trying to do the same thing as you. And then y'all, the public, say, we don't know which camp to follow. That's the spirit that's on you. The Bible says the same type of speech cannot come out. Blessing and cursing can't come out the same. You're supposed to speak to bless the people and edify them on repenting. Not curse somebody out and speak evil of others. And people look at you as less of stature when you do that. And for some reason, that's the norm, especially in the black Hebrew Israelite community. That's why we affirm all the time, we are not affiliated with these other groups. Because they know some scriptures, but they don't know the people. They don't know what's needed to build the people up and bring them back to the Father. Nobody needs examples on how to be evil. We could just walk out our house and see it. In some cases, we can see it inside our house. How about representing to the Most High in a way that's nurturing, that's loving to the people, that's edifying to the people, so that they see this God is for me?
Watch this. So we just read, submit yourself in chapter 4 and 7. Submit yourself, therefore, to God. Resist the devil. He will flee from you. So eventually, if you submit yourself to God, your thoughts are within the scriptures, eventually that spirit is going to flee from you. But if you have bitter envy and strife in your heart, it's going to manifest in your speech. And if you entertain that, it's because you like it. That's why you entertain it. There's part of you that likes that. But know you're going to give account for it. Just be prepared that you're going to answer for it. That's why I said with myself, I try to catch myself like, damn, do I like that like that? No, that's not me. I don't want to be that person. I got enough recordings with me with F-bombing. I don't need that in my life. I don't want to be seen like that. And I'm constantly, daily, trying to be careful on how I'm viewed, the words I use. When it's time to answer to God, can I be justified in my sayings? Because every idle word that men speak,
shall they give account
he shall give account in the day thereof. He's going to give account for those words. Watch this real quick. Go to Proverbs 6. Proverbs 16. Verse 23.
Proverbs 16 and 23. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips.
The heart of the wise will teach his mouth. The mind of the wise man, who's wise in what? The scripture, will govern his tongue. So if your tongue is not governed, then it says that you're not what? You ain't wise. It don't matter how many precepts you know. It don't matter how much you can explain these things. If your tongue is saying something that's contrary to the Bible in your speech, then the Bible says you ain't wise, because the heart of the wise will teach his tongue. It will what? It will, when you teach something, you're what? You're molding it. Your mind will mold your speech. It will put it under subjection. It will have dominion over your speech. So if you can't control it, Scripture said Jay was. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
Ecclesiasticus 37:19, what you just said.
You bring it out.
Watch that, what he just said about you supposed to be wise and you're destroying your own soul. Because a lot of y'all know scriptures. You know, you see some camps, they pulling precept after precept. And you believe that they're wise because they're using these words. But watch this.
Sirach 37:19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many.
They in the streets pulling out precepts, breaking down Revelation, pulling these books. Read on.
And yet is unprofitable to himself.
They don't know how to control their mouth so that it's beneficial even to their own soul. So a lot of people, they parakeet scriptures that they hear. They look, if you watch enough of our videos, you can sound like us. But the inner man that you are is what? Read it again.
There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself.
Meaning when the day of judgment comes, they're going to die. The Most High will use you and let you break down scriptures and get views. You building a camp, people coming to you. But when judgment day comes, you will die. Very scary.
Damn. Let's go back. Proverbs 16. We finished that right now. Proverbs 16. Go to Sirach 23. Book of Sirach, chapter 23. 23:7.
Sirach 23:7. Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth. He that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips.
Yeah. Hear, your children, the discipline of the mouth. Remember, it's that unruly evil, the mouth. Here's the discipline of the mouth. It says, he that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips. He that could control his speech, what he says, shall never be taken with it. And that's the battle in each one of us as believers, to control our tongue, to think the words that come out of our mouth, what effect it might have on another person, how it might affect them, how they might view you, how you make yourself viewed, what damage you can cause with your speech. But it says one more time. One more time. 23:7.
Sorry. Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth. He that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips.
You'll never be taken. Watch this. Wisdom of Solomon 8. I want you to read verse 1, then jump to 12.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 verse 1. Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly doth she order all things.
And sweetly does she order all things. Jump to verse 12.
When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure. And when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth.
So what it says, when I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure, meaning my peace. When I hold my tongue, it's going to bring about peace. Sometimes, let me tell you something. Now I'm going to tell you about you married men. Sometimes, man, it ain't even worth arguing about. Just tell you, it ain't. Trust me, I've been there, done it. Peace is more. Trust me, peace is primo in my life. Argue what? No, I'm cool. You can't give me a whisper. Because the end result in the arguing and the back and forth, does it bring about the change that you need?
No, sir.
So what the hell are you arguing for? All you do is be tired, and you got to go to work in the morning, and you're tired there's no conclusion to it. It's like a friggin' novella. The next episode, the shit's done all over. I just did it again. It doesn't end. It doesn't end. So sometime for peace, you do what? Now. I'm not talking to you simps. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to you. You all need to speak up. Just make sure you use the word of God. I'm talking for the rest of us. Lions who run their house. We don't run around it. Yeah, sometimes it's like, whatever. You're going to do what I say anyway, so why am I arguing for? I don't care if you. I don't even care if you understand. Paya, I don't even care if you understand what I'm saying. Just do it. That's all. Whatever. Arguing. Keep peace. You know why? Because all I end up doing is stressing myself out, stress her out, and it's gonna get done anyway. So what's the point in it? How does it make anything better? Go ahead, D.
Right. Like I always tell brothers, this is one rule that I've stressed to brothers very hard. Real men does not argue with no woman. I hope you all understand that. Real men is not going to be going back and forth, arguing with a woman. The man that does that is weak men, simps. Because a real man, he give an order, he going to get done no matter what. You understand what I'm saying? Even though the sister might not like it or so forth, but down the line, she won't get it done, because guess what? She respect and she honor you and she love you. You feel me? But if you're weak,
Yeah, but Dick, a lot of time what it is that first what you said is right. You ain't arguing. We sometimes, and watch brothers, I'm looking at your facial reaction. You argue because you want them to understand why you're saying what you're saying. See, I tell you, I don't care if you understand. I had to kind of point. I don't care if you really understand. I'm not telling you to sell your behind. Just do it. It doesn't matter. It's gonna get done anyway. But you're frustrated because she doesn't understand why. So what? But anyway, let's back to scripture. Where do we leave off with that one? I want verse 12 again.
When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure.
It's going to bring about peace. Read on.
And when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me.
But when I speak, they are going to give good ear unto me. Why? Because I ain't talking a lot. After a while, women or people get desensitized with you keep on talking. Oh, here you go again. There you go. But when you don't speak a lot and you do speak, they're going to give ear. Oh, there's a reason why he's opened his mouth. It must be something serious because he don't really say much. And in your mind, I ain't saying much, it still get done, right? Yes, sir. All right, then. It says what? Read that again.
When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure. And when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth.
Wisdom is going to know to tell you, shut up. Stop talking. Remember Ecclesiastes 3, there's a time to speak, a time for silence. Wisdom going to tell you, you know what? Shh. No more. That goes back to Sirach 1, something, 19 I think is. Wisdom will rain down skill and teach you when to speak, how to speak, what to say. There's wisdom in silence. I'm telling you all something. You learn wisdom of silence. Go from that real quick. Sirach 20. 20 verse 7.
Sirach chapter 20 and verse 7. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity. But a babbler and a fool will regard no time.
4 a.m. in the morning, you still arguing. You start at 10 o'clock at night, it's 4 o'clock, you got to get up at 6. And then you just get too tired. Listen, you go to sleep. And there's no resolution. Damn, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Oh, God. It says, a wise man will hold his tongue till he see the opportunity. A wise man will hold his tongue until he see the right time to speak. Why? Because he wants to be effective in his speech. This ain't the time. Old foremother did that with Nabal, Abigail. She could have got him. She waited. She said, no, this ain't the time right now. He drinking. He got his friends. If I do that, I'm going to emasculate him in front of his men. He's drunk. I'll talk to him in the morning and let him know. And I saved your life, right? David was out there. He's about to kill you. Remember, when David came, he was hanging out with his men drinking. They wasn't ready for David and these mighty men. Not even close. So nah, not now. I'll let you know later that I saved your life. You learn to speak, when to speak, how to speak. Read on.
He that useth many words shall be abhorred, and he that taketh
I'm sorry, read that again for me.
A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, But a babbler and a fool will regard no time.
Read on.
He that useth many words shall be abhorred, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated.
Right. He that uses many words shall be abhorred. Sometimes you tell people, shut the hell up. Damn it. I want to hear what you got to say. Jump on down to verse 18.
Verse 18. To slip upon a pavement is better than to slip with the tongue. So the fall of the wicked shall come speedily.
It said to slip with, bust your behind is better than to slip with your tongue. It's better fall and slip and break your backside than to slip with your mouth. Well, here's a good way not to slip with your mouth. Shut up. See, I didn't do it. I cleared it up. You can't say I've been. Don't talk. Little words, not too much.
Bishop.
Yeah.
You use Ecclesiastes chapter 7:14. You got that?
They're using it. 7 no.
Can we use that with what you just said about too much words?
Yeah.
He's being specific here about who and when. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 14.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 and verse 14. Use not many words in a multitude of elders.
You see the leaders around you. You see the senior men around you. Some brothers have a tendency to talk too much. And people start looking at you and you become less in stature to them because you're talking too much and you're saying the wrong things. And people are getting pissed off. Even the people of less stature than you are like, what's wrong with this person? Read on.
Use not many words in the multitude of elders, and make not much babbling when thou prayest.
You know, when you babble, when you pray, you're disrespecting God because the Christ said, the Father knows what you want before you even ask for it. Let your words be few. Don't come trying to talk. You're not going to dazzle God with your speech the same way you're trying to dazzle the elders with your speech. And you're going to say the wrong thing. That's what it's saying. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to talk too much. You got to know how to. I remember this Edomite told me at the first place I worked through, the first thing he said, you got to know how to read the room. And he was politely telling me you got to know when to shut up. Okay? Go ahead, Bishop.
Damn. Oh, boy, 2018, I didn't know how to read that room, boy. Damn. Damn, boy. My eyes was shut. Damn. Thank you, Father. Mercy. Boy. Okay, verse what? 18, 20. Okay, but man, I talk too much, right? That's what we just read? 18, slip of the tongue?
Yes, that was verse 18.
Yeah, verse 20. I want 20 now.
So about 20 and 20. A wise sentence shall be rejected when it cometh out of a fool's mouth.
So, you know, you talk so much, sometimes you might be saying stuff that's really good, but ain't nobody want to hear because you talk too much. There's a time and season, a place. They reject it because they reject you. They don't even want to hear nothing from you. And you could be saying something right. It's just that it's coming from you. Nobody wants to hear you. That means you're not a man of good reputation. That's what it's trying to say. The scripture just called you a what? A what?
A wise sentence shall be rejected when it cometh out of a fool's mouth.
Read on.
For he will not speak it in due season.
Because he doesn't have skill. That go back. Get that in a second, Sirach 1. He will not speak in due season. He doesn't know when to speak. That's why he's looked at as a fool, because he's always talking when he ought not to be talking. And now he's saying something that's good and nobody wants to hear just because it's you, buddy. Nobody wants to hear from you. It's a fire. So what? Let us burn. We just don't want to hear you say nothing.
What he said?
We're all going to die. You're all going to die in here. Yes, and that means we're getting away from you and your big mouth. Always talking.
Damn. Let the building burn.
Damn. Just you hurry and get out of it, damn it. So we don't want to hear you. What I asked for, risen reigneth down school.
Sirach 1 and verse 19.
Yeah, let me go there real quick. Is there anything before that? Let me see.
The fear of the Lord.
119, read.
Sirach 119. Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge of understanding, and exalteth them to honor that hold her fast.
Right, and exalted them to honor. Wisdom will rain down skill, because you'll know what to speak in the right season, right? Sirach 32 and 3.
Sirach 32 and 3. Speak, thou that art the elder, for it becometh thee, but with sound judgment, and hinder not music.
All I want is the top part. It says, speak thou that art the elder, for it becometh thee as the elder to speak, but with sound judgment. But when you speak, it better be with sound judgment. So the elders are not above it. All of us are subject to know when we speak, but it better speak, and it better be with sound judgment. You better not be, as an elder, speaking things you ought not to speak. Likewise, any other man. God is not the respecter of person concerning our speech. Watch this real quick. Back to Peter's 4. First Peter's 4 and 11.
1 Peter's 4 and 11. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judgeth his brother speaketh evil of the law.
1 second. Let me get there with you.
First Peter chapter 4 verse 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God.
Right. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. Read on.
If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which God giveth.
But if any man speak, let him speak the oracles of God. When you speak, let what come out your mouth be found in the scriptures, that you can justify what you're saying, that a speech that cannot be condemned. That's why it says before concerning a raineth down skill, because what? Your words are going to be as it is written. Okay. Ephesians 4, verse 29.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29. Let not corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
Look what it says. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. God is telling us that when we speak, it better be useful speech, something that brings value to the edifying. Don't let it be words that of no value, that's not in due season, that doesn't make the person or the people better or you better. Everything outside of that is considered what? Corrupt communication. So read one more time.
Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
Because the people on the receiving end, it has to minister grace to them. It has to be beneficial for them. But if it's corrupt, it's going to be what? Words of no value, words that are destructive, words that can break them, that can destroy them spiritually. Who wants to be found guilty of destroying a brother or sister in this truth? Lord Jesus. God said, you better off getting a millstone and cast yourself into the sea. In other words, kill yourself before I deal with you, if you offend one of his little ones. Damn. You're better off killing it. I hope nobody here go kill themselves. I hope nobody. Because people take your word, they're like, yeah, Bishop gave me counsel. The reason why I killed myself. Don't do that. I'm not telling you go kill yourself. They make a video before they die and say the reason why. Yeah. Damn. Y'all should know I'm a little hypersensitive these days. But yeah, don't do that. You don't even know where to find a millstone anyway, so.
Hey, Bishop, they could just go play in traffic, you know?
Yeah, go play. Damn.
I had that one for me, said.
Damn.
Go play in traffic, you know?
With blindfolds on. Proverbs 10. We joking. I mean, that's just Proverbs 10, 10 and 8. Proverbs 10, verse 8. I want you to look up the word prating, all right? Proverbs 10 and 8.
Proverbs chapter 10, verse 8. The wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall.
The wise in heart will receive commandments. I got the wrong scripture. That is a scripture, Proverbs 10 and 8. I'm reading the wrong one. The wise in heart will receive commandments. The wise in heart will listen to counsel. It will receive the instruction of this Bible. But the what? But the prating fool shall fall. The word prating or prat.
Prat. To talk excessively and pointlessly. Babble.
To talk too damn much. You just talk excessively. And it is pointless talk. It serves no use to the edifying of anybody. By listening to you, made us all dumber. What you gonna say, Deacon? What you said? Yeah. Friggin' dummy. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, when you get a chance, you find it. Sirach 32 again, verse 7 and 8.
Sirach 32, verse 7.
Oh.
Speak, young man, if there be need of thee.
So if there's no need of you, what is it telling you? Don't speak. Let me tell you why. Because there's a very good chance you're going to say something dumb. And unbeknownst to you, may not even know it's done. So the best way to avoid it is don't speak. Here's the thing, and I understand when you first come in, you got that zeal, you learn, you want to know, you want to share what you learn and what you know. Boy, trust me, what you think you know, you really don't know. I know in your mind you think you know, but I'm just trying to help you out. You don't know. Just be patient. Speak if there's a need of you. In other words, don't get around men whose age and now you want to try to hold a conversation with them like they didn't invite you into a conversation. You just like, yo, bro, yo, deacon, yo. No, don't do that. It don't. What it shows us is you run your mouth, you talk too much. We see that, we like, okay. Oh, that's it right there. Play it real quick.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but
you remain one.
Yo, that was hilarious. That could be one of my favorite clips I've seen. Oh my goodness.
The white man said, "May God have mercy on your soul." That's how dumb you are.
Watch this. Read that verse 7 again.
Speak, young man, if there be need of thee. and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked.
It says very little words. Trust. Listen, the scriptures is trying to help you all. Trust what I'm saying. Trust what the Bible's saying. I know y'all is prophets of God, but you right now are the silent prophets. Don't save yourself. Time will come. So I was young and I thought I knew, and I said foolishness. Look at the next verse.
Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words.
You know, it says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Somebody explain it to me. Oh, before you explain it, read the whole verse.
Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue.
Okay. So put it all together for me. Who wants to explain it?
Okay. Get to the point. Can you read it one more time?
Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue.
So get to the point as quick as possible, using as little words as possible. And if you got like an analogy or something, throw that away. Just try to get to the point so they understand.
You got everything? Yeah, that's pretty good. Just one part. Comprehending much in few words. Sorry.
Comprehending much. I don't know.
In the front. In the front.
Brevity is the soul of wit.
Over my head. I don't know what that means.
Briefness. In your briefness,
right?
That's being
okay. Yeah. Comprehending much in few words. Very good. Meaning you understand to let your speech. You're smart enough to understand. Let your speech speak short. You comprehend that. Let me help you all again. From this end, when you talk a lot and you keep on trying to explain, be like, okay, there's some deceit in that. You talking to, but let me explain. But we just sit back and be like, okay, I know. No, there's too much talk. There's too much. It don't take too much. We don't need much to be convinced of the truth. You used to be and explain it. I just know. I sit back. I'm like, okay, it's about 4 minutes of talking. I can understand a lot in a little bit of words. So why are you over? What you're doing is you're trying to program me to make me side in a certain direction, opposed to just giving the fact. But a wise young man, he will comprehend much in a few words, meaning he can be concise in his speech, make it clear, and keep quiet. That's why sometimes it's very good with yes and no answers. Let your yays be yays and your nays be nays, and everything else is what? Why? It's too much talk. Everything else is BS. I did it. See? I caught myself. Class is working on me. The worst, the rest is BS. All that other stuff, nobody's buying it. Read on.
If thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words.
Right. Don't get too familiar. Don't try to make yourself equal with men that's more senior to you. And there's nothing bad with having men that's over you. And one day you have men under you. But don't make yourself, sometimes brothers make themselves equal and they don't know they're being disrespectful. You don't make yourself equal with your father. You don't, unless your father's, well, stop. Can I? You don't make yourself equal with your father. You don't make yourself equal with the elders. There's a ranking system. There's a reason why God had it set up like that. Don't use many words. Sometimes people get confused because of age. Well, we're in the same age group, so they think, no. Same age, but not spiritually. Separate the two. Now, that doesn't mean now the man that's over you is to be disrespectful either. That's not what I'm talking about. Or deal with you wrong. He also going to give account of his speech. But in this regard, it's talking about a young man. Don't make yourself equal with them. Always give that man the preeminence. It shows your wisdom. It says, make thyself equal. It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when the ancient men are in place, use not many words. Why would you use many words? Why would you make yourself equal with them? 1 Corinthians 13. Four.
First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself.
Not make himself equal.
Is not puffed up.
Charity is not puffed up. Now, this person is talking about is a person what? Go to verse 1.
Though I have, verse 1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
So you might be a young man that understand prophecy, understand these scriptures. But if you don't know how to carry yourself right and your speech right, you're just making noise. You're not to edifying nobody. Your behavior, actions is not one that's in line with this Bible. Though you know prophecy, though you know you can break down these scriptures, though you have the memory for the stuff, but if you don't know how to be amongst great men and know how to let your words be few, what is it saying? You are sounding brass and tinkling. So you're just making noise. You're puffed up. You're vaunting yourself. You got Bible muscles, Bible memory muscles that you memorize. But it's not about memorizing. It's about living it. Bringing those words to life in your life. Manifesting what these words saying in your everyday life. So back to Sirach.
Sirach 32, verse 8. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue.
Be as one that knoweth it and holdeth his tongue. You know how hard that is for some people? They would know that, ooh, I got to answer. I got to show that I know everything.
If thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words. Before the thunder goeth, lightning. And before a shamefaced man shall go favor.
Right. Don't make yourself equal with them. Go to Sirach 8. Eight and 8.
Sirach chapter 8 and verse 8. Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs. For of them thou shalt learn instruction, and how to serve great men with ease.
Watch this real quick. Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs. For of them thou shalt learn instruction on how to serve great men with ease. Listen, to do all that, you have to be quiet. You have to be willing to learn. You're not going to do it if you always got to answer, if you're always talking. Listen. It says, they're what? It says, acquaint thyself with their proverbs, with their wise sayings, what they're going to tell you. Because these men have experience, and these women have experience. I can tell you right now, I can tell you so many things on what not to do. I can save you so much headache in your life. I can tell you how to navigate. I can tell you right now, you'll never be a good leader if you're not a good follower. I can tell you that for a fact. If you don't believe in the order and respect the order, you'll never be a good leader. And you'll never have men under you that'll be good. It'll be one problem. I'm telling you from my experience, I've seen it over the years. I'm not just guessing it. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen a good leader that was not a good follower. Never, not one time have I seen it in all my years in this truth. All those leaders that were good, they were good followers. They could follow directions. Watch what it says. Verse 9.
Miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding.
Right. It says, don't miss the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers. Here's the next thing. You have the opportunity to sit with some of the senior men, the captains. Don't miss those opportunities. I'm changing the gears a little bit. From my experience, me sitting back from here, looking, whenever I see brothers and the deacons and them, and captains are open up with these scriptures, they talking, and they invite brothers to come around, and I see brothers don't come around, I'm like, something wrong with him. So that's my first, that triggers me. Something's wrong with that spirit. This is an opportunity to glean. That's the reason why you're here for. When I see brothers who've been around for some years and they rolling with the young men, something wrong with them. Something ain't firing off. You go up. The young men seek to the older men. The older men seek to the ancient men. You go up. You don't go backwards. You here 10 years and you roll with brothers been here 2 years. That don't make no sense. For them who's 2 years, it makes sense. But for you, you dumb yourself down. You're not edifying them like that. You need to go get the edification. Now, if you're teaching that's one, that should say you're not edifying. But if you're rolling with them, that's your little clique, you weird. That's like Michael Jackson with a bunch of kids. What are you with kids for? Who wants to be like, you're trying to get away from kids. You ain't trying to be with kids all the time. Freaking Peter Pan. No, you're not doing that still. Who does that? Miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learn of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth thee. And to know, you're going to learn when to shut up, and you're going to speak when there's a need. They're going to teach you. This ain't the time. Trying to warn you, shut up. Don't talk. No. Okay. All right, fool. If you got fume, you're shame. 6. No, stay where you at. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, 6 and 34.
Sirach 6 and 34.
No, 32.
Yes, sir. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
Now watch this. Let's do this. Verse 18, then jump to 32.
Yes, sir. Sirach 6 and verse 18. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine own age.
Well, my son, gather instruction from thy youth up. For a young man, gather instruction from you. Get these scriptures. Get up under the elders who could teach you. Men have seen you. Gather it up. So shalt thou find wisdom in thine old age. So now, as you become older in age, in spirit, you'll be able to extract all that you learned and now bring it back and share it with the men after you. But if you don't get it, you're not going to have nothing to glean from. That's like having a computer. You got a big computer with all these CPUs or whatever you call inside of it, but you didn't download no software. It's a big piece of metal. It's no use. So go gather all that. So now when you hear, you're like, oh, I can tell you, don't do that. That's not going to work. I can tell you right now I can tell you something right now. If I see a brother, one of you men who sit right here in the front rows, if I come back a year from now and you're sitting off to the corner, away from everybody, not interacting, I'm like, okay, this brother's in sin. Something's going on with him. I learned that because I've seen, and I had elders said, yo, watch that brother. See, he's moving away. Okay, something's wrong with him. That's how I learned. So then I remember that. I'm like, oh, okay, I can identify that right now. We had a brother one time, he got corrected. He didn't like it, and he sat on the ground with his Bible like it was the book of Eli, like he was so spiritual. We was laughing at him because all the brother was whatever. He sat outside. This happened in another city, and he's afterwards correction. He just sat with his Bible like Indian style, like that. And he had his Bible. He was just deep in thought, and he was like, "Oh gosh, you know what he's now? He's smoking weed. He's gone." Nobody felt what he's doing. He's like, he's gone. His mind is gone. He's not reading the Bible. He don't even understand. That word's jumbled in his head right now. But we was able to identify. Somebody see him reading the Bible, they think, oh, he's reading because he's getting. No, Negro. We know. We can read you. These are they that separate themselves, not having the spirit. No matter what you're doing. That you learn that by what? Cleaving to some other men who are more experienced than you can show you how to navigate. So when you lead, you're able to identify those things. All right, let's go. Where we at now?
Verse 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
But you got to shut up.
And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
You're gonna be wise if you shut up and listen. That's what it's telling you. You know.
If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding.
You can't hear if you're talking. You know.
And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise.
You're willing to humble down and listen. You know.
Stand in the multitude of the elders, and cleave unto him that is wise.
You know.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse,
and listen. You know.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
Don't let these parables of understanding escape thee. Be willing to listen. Be willing to listen. You want to listen? Guess what's happening? You're preparing. The Lord is preparing your heart. He's preparing your mind. But you got to be willing to listen to get prepared. Watch this. Go to Proverbs 16. 16, 1 and 2.
Proverbs chapter 16 and 1. The preparations of the heart of man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord.
It said the preparation of the heart of man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. You think that just floats down from heaven? What is the preparation of the hearts of men from? From teachers. They're preparing you. They're trying to tell you. And then once the heart is prepared, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord, then the Lord is going to be in your conversation. That's what's going to come out your mouth. But you have to be prepared. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to talk. You have to hold your tongue. You'll never get understanding. You'll never grow like that. It's impossible. It's impossible to grow like that. Watch this.
Verse 2. All the ways of man.
No, I don't want that. Watch this. I want chapter 15, verse 33.
Proverbs 15 and 33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
Jump up to verse 2.
The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright.
The tongue of the wise will use knowledge aright.
But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness.
But the mouth of fools will pour out foolishness. Verse 5.
A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent.
But he that regardeth the reproof is prudent. Now read verse 33 again.
The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
Before honor is humility. You have to be willing to be taught. James 1. James 1, verse 19.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God.
So it says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Let every man be swift to hear. Want to hear. Want to hear. I'm telling me, I'll listen. If what you're saying is come out the Bible, the oracles of God, I'm going to listen. My ears tuned in. Slow to have a response. Stop responding. Stop feeling like you have to have a comeback. Sometimes you could just be quiet, let it pass, just listen. Be swift to hear, slow to speak. And that's very hard for people. That's very hard. Everybody wants to justify themselves. Everybody wants to be the one with a deep saying. But again, the good leaders were and are good followers. Sirach 51. All right, I've got a few more. I'm not going to be at this too much longer. Sirach 51. I want to read 51 verses start at verse 13. Watch this. Watch this. 51:13. Yeah, that's it.
51:13. Sirach 51:13. When I was yet young, or ever I went abroad, I desire wisdom openly in my prayer. I pray for her before the temple, and will seek her out even to the end. Even from the flower till the grape was ripe, hath my heart delighted in her. My foot went the right way. From my youth up sought I after her. And I bowed down mine ear a little, and received her, and got much learning.
He said, I bowed down my ear a little and received her. I humbled and listened, and I received her, which is wisdom. And because of that, I got much learning. He was willing to be taught. Read on.
I profited therein.
Whoa. And he what?
I profited therein.
And because he was willing to listen,
I profited therein, therefore will I ascribe the glory unto him that giveth me wisdom.
Now he's going to ascribe to God. But he said, I profited by what? By listening. Bowing my ear down, listening. I wanted wisdom. I went to men. I learned. I increased in my learning. And it was profitable to me. Profitable to listen. Read on.
For I purposed to do after her, and earnestly I followed that which is good. So shall I not be confounded.
And if that's the case, because I profit by wisdom, he said, I purpose to do after. I'm going to do exactly what wisdom has got me doing. And earnestly I follow that which is good. So shall I not be confounded. Nobody's going to confound you in these scriptures. Now watch what it says. Read on.
My soul hath wrestled with her, and in my doings I was exact. I stretched forth my hands to the heaven above and bewailed my ignorances of her.
Look what it says. My soul wrestled with her. He said, in my soul, I wrestled with wisdom. It says, and in my doings, I was exact, meaning I did exactly what it said to do. But he said, in my soul, I wrestled with her. Okay, who won? He said, in my soul, I wrestled with it. But he said, I bowed my ear to it. I increased. But he said, in my soul, I wrestled with it. Then he says, and my doings, I was exact. So who won? No. In his soul, he wrestled, but in his doings, look up the word exact. Maybe you understand if you see the word exact. Definition of exact.
Exact. Not approximated in any way precise.
Do the drop down.
Demand, require.
It says demand, require, command, impose, request, ask, expect, look, exact, extract, compel. I forced, squeeze, constrained. All right? So let's go back. My soul hath wrestled with her, with wisdom. In my doings I was exact, or I was constrained. So who won? His soul wrestled with wisdom.
He won.
Right. Wisdom, he won. Yes. Why? Because of his actions. Right. He overcame, remember, his mind wrestled with it. But his actions overcame. Why? Because he loved the learning. Right. He's willing to. So it's a fight with all of us to do the right thing. To be willing to listen. It's going to wrestle. Come on, man. But you got to be able to control it. Control your body. Control your tongue. Control your speech. It's easy to say, F you, nigga. But can you control it? Do you have dominion and control over this vessel? Over the tongue, which is an ungodly, a deadly poison, unruly thing. He says, but my doings was exact. Read on.
I stretched forth my hands to the heaven above and bewailed my ignorances of her.
And I stretched forth my hands and prayed to God and bewailed the ignorances that I had. All the shortcomings, he prayed to God. Read on, watch what it says.
I directed my soul unto her, and I found her in pureness. I have had my heart joined with her from the beginning. Therefore shall I not be forsaken.
Read on.
My heart was troubled in seeking her.
Therefore have I gotten a good possession.
He says, my heart was troubled in seeking her. Therefore, I've got a good possession. Hold this. We're going to come right back here. Proverbs 15. Proverbs 15 and 33.
Proverbs 15:33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
Right. He says, my heart troubled in seeking her. Therefore, I've gotten a good possession. The fear of the Lord is instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. He feared God. Because he feared God, it was instruction in wisdom. It instructed him. So let's go back. My heart is troubled in seeking her, but I feared God, and I got what? Honor and humility. It says, my heart was troubled in seeking her, therefore I have gotten a good possession. Because I had a healthy fear of God. Now watch what it says. This is the point I want to get to.
The Lord have given me a tongue for my reward.
Whoa. Because I won the battle. What was the reward?
The Lord have given me a tongue for my reward, and I will praise him therewith.
He gave me a tongue to know how to speak, and I'm going to praise him with it because now I got my tongue under control. I got my actions under control. This is the thing we find is to control this vessel, this body, or speech. Because no one day we're going to give account for our behaviors, for our speech, for what we do in this body. There's going to be a judgment for it. So be mindful what comes out of your mouth. Because if it destroys, no good. If it destroys, there is a judgment. Sirach, one more time, I'll read this again. Sirach 6. Sirach 6, verse 18.
Sirach 6 and 18. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up.
My son, you better gather instruction from your youth up. Jump to verse 33.
Verse 33.
32.
Verse 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
Listen, I hope you listen. If you will be taught. Read on.
And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
And if you apply your mind to what you're being taught, you're going to learn to be wise. You're going to learn how to speak. Read on.
If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding.
If you love to hear, you're going to receive understanding, but you got to love to hear it. So to love to hear it means you got to love to keep quiet and not talk. Read on.
And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise.
And if you will to listen, you're going to be wise. Read on.
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
And do what?
And cleave.
No. And I'm going to say something. Stand in the multitude of elders and keep quiet and listen. Listen. Y'all buying into the system. That's why you're here, right? Put in a black shirt, put in a purple, wear fringes, we're trying to keep his laws. Then why not listen? Or you can speak if you want to and eventually condemn yourself by your speech before God. Because it's impossible that we don't offend. It's impossible, the scripture says. So how much more would it be for a young man without understanding? He will offend more. And there's more judgment behind it. Read on.
Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
Don't let none of that escape you. Read on.
And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments.
And if you meditate continually in his commandments, what's going to manifest in your speech and your behavior will be righteousness. It's going to be seared in your mind. You speak what you take into your spirit. You understand it? What you digest daily in your spirit is what's going to manifest in your speech and your behavior. If you're watching porn all day, please don't tell me you think that something righteous is going to come out and manifest out of you. It doesn't work like that. Listen, or you can do it your way and see how it works out for you. Proverbs 20, I got a few more scriptures. Proverbs 25, isn't that rule your own spirit? Say it again. Thank you.
Proverbs 25 and 28. He that have no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down.
Right. You cannot tame. You cannot take in subjection. You can't have dominion of your own spirit. You're like a city with no defense. You have no defense. If you cannot tame your tongue, tame your actions, you're open. You're susceptible to be destroyed. You can't rule this. That's the first thing we got to conquer is ourselves. We have to be able to bring this body in subjection to the word of God. And it begins with our thought process, what we manifest in our speech. You know why? Watch this real quick. Proverbs 18. Watch this. Back to the speech. I'm about to wrap it up. Proverbs 18. Verse 21.
Proverbs 18 and 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
What the scripture says?
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Death and life is in the power of the tongue. We don't?
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
And whatever you love is the fruit you're going to eat. If you love death, then you're going to eat the fruit of death. If you love life, you're going to, but it's found where? In the power of the tongue. So what is it trying to tell you? The tongue holds power. It could be used for good or it could be used for evil. But again, every idle word we are going to give account in that day. Proverbs 12. Watch the power of the tongue. Proverbs 12:25.
Proverbs 12 and 25.
Give me a second. Let me get there with you. Yeah, 12:25.
Heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad.
Look what it says. Heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop. So the heaviness in the mind of a man will make that man, that's talking about depression. You understand that? But what? The last part?
But a good word maketh it glad.
But a good word can what? Can reverse that depression. That's a skill. A skill of learning how to heal people with the word of God. It's very easy to destroy. You can find things you wicked, that's simple. But how do you heal that person? How do you help them come back to their former state? How do you make them whole again? Power and life is in the speech, in your tongue. You can destroy or you can heal somebody with that mouth. I would think you would understand healing is far better than destroying. And one more time, that verse.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 25. Heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad.
Watch this. Read verse 18.
There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword.
This is what?
There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword.
There is that speaketh like the piercing of a sword. Read on.
But the tongue of the wise is health.
But the what?
But the tongue of the wise is health.
But the tongue of the wise is health. But some words can pierce and destroy. But the tongue of the wise is going to heal that brother or sister. Real quick, couple more scriptures I want. Psalms 40 and 3.
Psalms 40 and 3. And he hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Lord.
That's Psalms 40 and 3? Psalms 140, I'm sorry.
Psalms 140 and verse 3. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adders, poison is under their lips. Selah.
It says they have sharpened their tongues. That's what we just read about that sword. They're sharpened their tongues like a what?
Like a serpent. Adders, poison is under their lips.
So what are they saying? Your words will creep into somebody's spirit and destroy them from the inside. Real quick, I want you Psalms 52 and 4.
Psalms 52, verse 4.
One second. Start with verse 1.
Psalms chapter 52, verse 1. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of God endureth continually. The tongue deviseth mischiefs like a sharp razor, working deceitfully.
Damn. Read on. What verse is that?
That was verse 2.
Read on.
Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Selah. Thou lovest all devouring words.
Thou lovest what?
All devouring words.
You love words that devour. Those words are sensual, devilish, and they're not of the spirit. It said, thou lovest words that destroy. Read on.
O thou deceitful tongue.
You deceitful tongue. Because you talk as though you love God. Look what it says next.
God shall likewise destroy thee forever.
Likewise, the way you like to destroy with your tongue, God said, likewise, I'm going to destroy you also with that speech. Is there more to it?
He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living.
You know what that
Selah.
means? You're going to die. Okay, 2 more scriptures. Sirach 37. Bear with me. Sirach 37. There's one that showeth his wisdom of word. Verse 8, start with verse 17 and 18.
Sirach 37, verse 17. The countenance is a sign of changing of the heart.
The countenance is the sign of a changing of the heart. A person's countenance will show that their mind is changing. Read on.
4 manner of things appear, good and evil, life and death, but the tongue ruleth over them continually.
It says 4 things appear, good and evil, life and death, but the tongue rules all over them. The tongue is what rules over them. So in it, you have the choice to bring life and death, or life or death. You can heal or you can destroy with the tongue, but know one thing, every idle word, we are going to give account in that day. Hebrews 13, and this is where I'm going to wrap it up at. 13, 17. We always read it.
Hebrews 13 and 17. Obey them that have the rule over you.
Those elders that have rule, obey them. They're trying to help you. They're trying to help you out. They're trying to save you from you. Read on.
And submit yourselves.
It says that what?
And submit yourselves.
You have to be willing to submit yourself. You have to be willing to want to be taught. You have to be willing to want to listen, to learn. Read on.
For they watch for your souls, and they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief.
There's 2 things I want out of this. 1, obey them that have rule over you, for they watch for your souls, for they must give account. We're held by God to give account for your souls. So we don't want to be ones to destroy your souls. We want to be ones to heal your souls. But you got to be willing to listen and obey those that have rule over you. We're held accountable for our actions and for what we say, just like you are. For we watch for their souls, we don't.
That they may give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you.
Because we do it with joy and not with grief, because it will be unprofitable to you. It brings no profit to us to see you fall away. We want to be able to give account and say that, you know what, these brothers and sisters, they listen, they understand. We watch how we speak to each other. We deal with each other righteously, because we know in that day of judgment, we will not escape if we destroy one of God's little ones, right? All right, so with that, class, I pray that you'll receive something from it and temper your speech. And I'm going to work on minds.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are how men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.